Hey guys, hope everything is going well. So I'm gonna make 3 videos, and I'm gonna put them in a separate playlist. And this is gonna be the first one. They're basically just gonna be what your expectations for each exam should be, in the sense that this is more of like something to calm people's nerves, kind of give them an idea of how to prepare. And the how to prepare is kind of the second video in the welcome playlist, but this is just each individual exam, what my thoughts are. Because people always ask about this, and obviously it makes sense because you haven't taken any class like this before, and so you're just wondering. So we're gonna do the first exam. So for the first exam, I'd say it's the easiest exam overall. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy per se. It means that in relation to the other 2, so there's 3 total. The other 2, it's definitely the easiest one, and you'll think that looking back, when you first take it and everything, it seems very hard, but when you look back, especially once you get to like FAR 2, you'll be like, wow, that wasn't even very hard. But definitely a challenging exam. It's just in relation to the other 2, it's the easiest one. And it's challenging because this class is just innately challenging, right? It's not as if it's because the professors are trying to make it hard. It's just, that's just the way this material is. It's very challenging. As you can probably tell, there's not a ton of like substantive accounting. It's not as if you're like looking at accounts receivables or, property, plant, equipment, or any specific asset or liability. It's more of like a 40,000 foot view of, okay, these are the financial statements. These are kind of how they are made and stuff like that. And so that's most of the focus of the first exam. You can kind of see that, 2 of the chapters of the first 6 are based off of the financial statements, and you spend a lot of time in class on the financial statements, right? And so a lot of it is preparing statements and the contents of the statements and everything about them, right? And so a lot of that is just memorizing, literally sitting down and memorizing the statements and their order, right? And so one thing for chapter 4 that I did was when I was in the class was for the income statement, literally just sit down and I memorized the format of the income statement. So you'd first have your revenues, then you would have your cost of goods sold, your gross profits. I would go all the way down. I'd write down every single line item, and then I would just write like XX across from it, just literally from memory, just take out a piece of paper and write down the format, the line items in the income statement, because you have to know those exactly the way that they are written, or else you will lose points, assuming that there's a free response that says prepare an income statement. If they said to do that, if you don't know the format, you're going to lose a lot of points because that's a lot of what is being tested. So yeah, again, prepare any and all statements for a potential free response, or it could even be asked through a multiple choice where it gives you a certain line item and then they want you to solve for another line item or something like that, right? So you could be asked, you might need to know the statements just to answer a multiple choice. You never know. You definitely could do well, like I talked about in the welcome video, the second one about how to do well in the class. Like I would watch that and you'll get some ideas there. Just obviously start studying early, and I have a lot of tips in there that you can follow. And then the other couple other things, the next one is the format. A lot of professors, they do different things, right? And so each professor should tell you what they're going to do. There's like various things. Some professors do like short answers where it's like, they'll tell you to fill in the answer. It's kind of like almost like a multiple choice without choices. Then there's actual traditional multiple choice. Some professors might even do like definitions. I'm not sure if that's super common, but possibly. And then definitely free response. Pretty much all the professors, I think, do some sort of free response. The one good thing about this class is a lot of times you can somewhat guess what the free response are just based off of what the topics are, right? And none of the professors are going to necessarily hide that. They're not going to come out and tell you this is the free response, but they understand like there are certain topics that can be asked in free response, and there are certain ones that just don't make that much sense, right? And so you can use that to your advantage and say, oh, okay, these are the topics that are more likely to be on a free response, and definitely make sure that you could, write it all out and make sure that you could do it all in a free response setting. Finally, the last thing I'll say as a piece of advice is for the first exam, definitely, and for all these that applies, but basically the idea is that, or maybe a couple things, but the next one is that make sure you've practiced it, and that not only that you can do it, but you can do it fast. Because what's going to happen on the exam is you're going to obviously feel pressure, and there's going to be a lot of questions to do. And if you kind of somewhat know how to do it, and you could do it if you had plenty of time, then it might come down to it. You might not finish, or you might do it wrong because you're under so much time pressure and you want to get to the next question, and you might run out of time, or you might just get them wrong, right? Like I just said. And so the point is you have to keep practicing and keep doing the questions. I would do all the questions that are assigned at least twice, just to make sure you have a good feel for everything that's going on. And so yeah, that's basically what I would say about the exams, at least for exam 1. Some of these apply more generally to all the exams, but yeah, so that's basically what I would say for exam 1. And good luck. I'm going to make a video for exam 2 and exam 3, so look for those as well. I'll see you then. Bye.